The atmosphere at the training base that morning was different from usual. The cold air around the South Korean military camp blanketed the entire area, but it wasn't the temperature that made many soldiers whisper between the ranks. The name that kept sounding among them was only one Cha Eunwoo. In a matter of days since he officially entered the military service, all eyes were on him. Not only because of his status as a famous idol of ASTRO, but also because there is something going on behind the walls of the barracks that makes everyone not stop talking about it. Since his arrival, Eunwoo has attracted attention not only from his peers but also from coaches. There was an aura that was hard to explain every time he walked through the practice yard, calm, focused, but implying a huge burden hidden behind his polite smile. Many thought that his presence in the military would be like that of other celebrities, full of distance, calm and guarding the image. However, the opposite is true. Eunwoo surprised everyone with his adaptability. He arrived early on his first day, greeting one soldier after another, even helping to lift their bags without being asked. But the big talk about him doesn't stop at his humble personality. There was something much deeper, an incident that made his name the hottest topic in the entire headquarters. According to several military sources who did not want to be named, Cha Eunwoo experienced a very emotional moment in his second week. As the evening practice took place in an open field, a coach found Eunwoo standing silently staring at the sky, as if he were holding something back. Some soldiers who saw from a distance said that his tears just dripped down without him realizing it. The moment spread quickly from mouth to mouth, and from then on, Eunwoo's name became a symbol of the power in silence. In the camp point, one of his roommates said, "We all know who he is, but when the lights are turned off, Eunwoo never shows that he's a big artist. He just said, 'I want to be a normal person here. I want to learn like you.' But that night, after a hard physical workout, I saw him sitting on the bed staring at the photo in his hand. I didn't know who was in the picture, but her tears fell silently. The story made the atmosphere in the barracks sharply silent. No one dared to laugh or ask. Everyone just knew. There was something behind the calmness of Eunwoo's face that he was struggling with. Day by day passed, and more people inside the camp began to respect him. The physical trainer even said that Cha Eunwoo was one of the most disciplined among the entire force. He never complained, although he had to do additional push-ups due to the mistakes of his team. He always stepped forward and said, "Let me do it." It's not because he's looking for attention, but because he really wants to protect his friends, said one of the coaches in a proud tone. However, behind that admiration, the conversation among the soldiers also shifted to something more personal. Many were curious what exactly made Eunwoo so silent whenever the break time came. Some say that he often wrote something in a small book that he always kept under his pillow. Every night, when everyone was asleep, he wrote with the dim light of a small flashlight. When someone asked him what he wrote, he just smiled and said, "I'm writing a letter, but I don't know who it's for." The sentence became a little legend in the military camp. Until now, many say that the letter is Cha Eunwoo's outpouring of heart for someone he hadn't had time to convey before enlisting in the army. Eunwoo wrote a message in ASTRO's training room. "I don't know how strong I will be there, but I will try so that the people I love are never ashamed to say my name." The sentence is now a reminder to many young soldiers who are beginning to lose their spirit amid the rigors of military life. They called it Eunwoo's words, a symbol of constancy and sincerity. It does not stop there. There are also other events that make his name continue to be talked about. In the third week of training, Eunwoo had suffered a small wound on his hand during weapon training. Although the coach advised to rest, he refused. He simply bandaged his wound with a bandage and returned to the line without saying anything. His colleagues who saw the incident were stunned. "He never wanted to be a burden to anyone," one of them said. Even the normally loud coach ended up praising Eunwoo in front of the entire team. Discipline is not just about the physical, it's about the heart. And Cha Eunwoo already showed it. Since that moment, many soldiers began to imitate his attitude. He didn't speak much, but his every action spoke louder than words. Some say that his character made the atmosphere in the camp calmer, more respectful. He even served as a liaison between two groups of soldiers who had previously clashed. Without raising his voice, he approached them one by one and said, We are here for the same purpose. Don't make small mistakes an excuse to stay away from each other." That simple sentence managed to ease the tension, and from that day on, everyone began to believe it. However, all that talk reached a climax when the base commander himself mentioned Cha Eunwoo's name in his speech. "There is one man among you who may have come as a star, but today he stands here as a true warrior," the commander said, to the applause of the entire army. Eunwoo just lowered his head, visibly holding back his emotions. But all know that moment became the greatest recognition of his struggle. No camera, no stage, only respect born of sincerity. Even some senior coaches who are usually difficult to praise say the same thing. "We have coached many celebrities, but Cha Eunwoo is different. It does not ask for leniency. He often helps others without being seen." Maybe that's why everyone talks about him. Not because he's famous, but because he's sincere. Stories about him spread outside the base. His family only learned a fraction of what he had been through when a colleague wrote a letter to his mother to express his pride for Eunwoo. The letter read, "Mother, your son has taught us the meaning of patience and sincerity. We, who didn't believe in idols at first, are now learning from a person named Cha Eunwoo." The news finally reached the media, albeit only as a small rumor. However, for the people inside the camp, they knew that behind the handsome face of a star, there was a strong soul that withstood the weight and loneliness. Eunwoo rarely talked about himself, but every little act left a big imprint. From helping other soldiers who have difficulty training, to calming colleagues who want to surrender. He didn't yell, didn't push, just said softly, "I'm tired too, but we can get through this together." Now, every time his name was mentioned among the new warriors, they would hear the same story, about the idol who came without pride, about the young man who kindled the spirit of others without needing to say much. No wonder everyone talks about it in the military. Cha Eunwoo is no longer just a celebrity, but a symbol of calmness that gives strength. And when night fell over the camp, some soldiers often saw him sitting under the sky, staring at the stars with a small smile. No one knew what he was thinking, but someone once heard him whisper quietly, "I hope they're all okay out there." Maybe he's talking about his family, maybe about his fans, or maybe someone he's always missed in secret. All who knew him in the military agreed. Cha Eunwoo brought something inexplicable, sincerity that heals, serenity that strengthens. And that's why, to this day, everyone is still talking about it. Because in a harsh place like the military, where egos often clash, someone like Cha Eunwoo is present like a soft light that soothes all tired hearts.